Hi everyone, this is Marisha Trembetska and Happy New Year 2022. I don't know how we're here again, but we are. Another year has gone past and obviously it was another 21 difficult year like 20 was. But new energy, new life start, new everything, right? I love this time of year. So this week's podcast to kick off 2022 is all about what you need to say no to in order to get your big yes. Now, this is not like say yes to the dress. This is not a marriage or relationship thing at all, although I guess you could argue that that might be part of that. But it's about, we all have, especially creatively, so many projects and things. I want to do this, I want to do this. Oh, I quite like doing this. Oh, maybe I could make, as creatives, we're wonderful at coming up with brilliant, lovely ideas that sound fabulous and we can talk about with our friends. But they're settling down and actually doing the process of going from beginning to middle to end, to getting it done, to edit, to market it, all that stuff is like, it's a lot easier to dream and not do than to dream and then do. Although it's much more satisfying when your dreams have been done and you can move forward. Now, I always do a review every year, at the end of every year, about my previous year, which I may come into more detail in another podcast. But for me, everyone's like, what's your New Year's resolutions? I will say, having 1,000 of them, which are too big, too impossible in the time frame, or too many, we can't do everything, especially if, as with most creatives at the moment, you've got your creative career and also you've got a job trying to keep your kind of roof over your head, that kind of thing. So there's so many things yelling for our attention, from fitness goals to relationship goals to catching up with friends to I really want to publish my book this year. I want to release my album. I want to do my film, whatever the big thing creatively is. There's one question I'm going to suggest you ask yourself, and you could ask yourself this every single day or week from now to the end of 22, and it'll help. So you could be listening to this come summer. It's going to work. And it is, what do I need to say no to get your big yes? And we can fatten that out. What do you need to say no to on a daily basis to win in your big projects? What daily habits are getting in your way? For example, if your fitness is a big goal for you in 2022, well, obviously not allowing yourself to sit on the couch all day or evening is part of that. Instead of replace your no, I'm feeling tired and it's cold outside, with yes, I'm going to the gym today. Yes, I'm going for that walk. Yes, I'm lifting some weights. And then also, what do you need to say no to on a weekly basis in this year to get your big yes? What do you need to start thinking about? What are your habits that really don't help you? Sometimes they're daily, like the too much time on YouTube. Sometimes it's of course, every weekend I do this, I do that. And maybe they're not helping either. Where and how we spend our free time is super important in maximising that time. Yes, to see friends and family. Yes, to de-stressing. But also yes, to moving forward towards your goals. And actually, if you can say, I'm going to say no to this, and not in like a weird, I'm terrible if I break it, but consistently come back to, well, maybe yesterday I spent too much time doing this, so today, instead of doing this, before I start reading or watching films, I'm going to do half an hour guitar practice. I'm going to do that kind of stuff. It's January 3rd as I record this. I did today do my first 2022 singing practice. I've got a voice. After I record this podcast here, I'm going to also record my first Singing Psychic podcast as well for 2022. Because, of course, I do the two. That one's in my character. What is the song of the week? For everyone who loves the Singing Psychic. And I think I do. I'm one of those. But I digress. What do you need to say no to in 2022 to get your big yes? On a daily basis, on a weekly, and yes, a monthly. If you are, for example, if your big yes is, I want to start being a big film actor, then maybe the no you need to say is, I'm not going to do any live theatre this year, or I'm not going to do Edinburgh Fringe. Now, I'm not saying that because much as I love doing film, the energy and the joy I get from entertaining and telling stories with my audience, no matter if it's me as Queen of the fucking world, me as a singing psychic, or me emceeing or acting in other people's work. I love that adrenaline and I love the connection. So that's not a no I'm planning to say no to. But there are other no's. I am looking now, am I doing Edinburgh this year because it's going to take energy off what I'm doing, or does it sit in with my plan? So you can also look now in this first few weeks of Jan over the big goals for 2022 and go, well, I can't do that and that. I can't do this festival and that. I've done it before. I can't do Canada this year and do Edmonton Fringe if I want to do Edinburgh, if I would do Edmonton in Canada versus Edinburgh in Scotland, because the dates clash and the timing. Sometimes you can make tours work really well. Sometimes it's forget about it, right? So it is always about saying no to things, but with real clear, sometimes it's, I'm going to choose not to pick up this project till I get that one finished. I'm not going to write my new 3 songs until I've got my... all that stuff. So there we are. So that was my thought for the beginning of 2022. My Get Your Art in Gear program is, I've now got a new art cover for it. It's looking fabulous. It's definitely coming out in a couple of weeks. I say definitely because I'm waiting on a couple of bits to come back from others. And I seem to be incredibly busy, which is wonderful at the beginning of January. And also wonderful to know I've got money to pay my bills. But it's happening. I can guarantee that what I need to say no to in January 2022 is anything that gets in the way of me making sure by January 31st Get Your Art in Gear is out. Because I've been moving these dates forward and it's got to happen. So it is now. I was determined by New Year's Eve and I don't know what happened, but well, Christmas and very, very good quality family time, especially with my nephew and my niece. It's really important to me. So I decided to look at that while I was there and then I can restart. So if you want to know more about Get Your Art in Gear, you will find some details coming up next week on my loveyourcreativity.com website and my marishatrembetska.com website. So be happy, be well. I know you're fabulous. And ask yourself every day if you need for this week. And if you said, I'm going to say no to X, and then the next day you think, but I actually did the thing I said no to. I don't want you to get into guilt. This is not that. This is about forgetting about guilt and going, okay, that didn't serve me yesterday. Let's see what we can do today instead. Little consistent steps. So thank you for listening. I hope that you can rebuild your dreams in your art. And art is obviously a very broad brush of all kinds of creativity because it's been a hard 2 years, but I am joining the chorus of voices saying to you and the world, the world needs as much art as it can get. And your art is worth listening to, so you need to take the steps. You need to choose to take the steps and make the choices, including saying no to some stuff, to really getting your work out the door this year. Okay, this was Marisha Trembetska. This is my Love Your Creativity and Make Money podcast. And if you want to know what the song of the week is for the Singing Psychic, she's over on my The Singing Psychic podcast. I'm at Marisha T, MARYSIAT, on Instagram and Facebook, am I? No, not Facebook. I'm Marisha Trembetska on Facebook. And also on Twitter at Marisha T. So there we are. Be well, be fabulous. Bye.